Okay, we are continuing on with our series of modernizing the MyListing property demo. So let's go ahead and get caught up with what I've been doing since the last video, and then we're going to work on some new stuff here together. Okay, so we're going to take a peek at the how it works page. So we see this is fully designed and ready to go. And let's look at the support page. This is fully designed and ready to go. And let's look at the author page. Fully designed and ready to go. We now see that the listing preview cards design that we have that applies to the other areas of the website are now applying to the author page, and that is done in WPCodeBox by going to the listing previews CSS package and using the conditions builder in WPCodeBox. We are applying it to the home page, explore page, the job listing, the listings, because they have like the similar listings area and then the related listings tab. So you need to apply those designs there as well. And then finally, the author page. So if the URL contains the word author, that will apply. And then lastly, we have the image guidelines and tips page that is nested under the support page. You can put that wherever you want, but I just like to nest it under the support page. But this is designed and ready to go. This is going to give people that are filling out the add listing form, the submit form, guidance on what to do with images, like the max image size, how they can compress them, that sort of stuff. But this will come more into play when we get to customizing the add listing flow. Okay, so those are the pages. We are caught up, and then let's go and do some new stuff. So on my list here, we're going to just, again, work left or right, but I'm going to clean up some of these columns with you guys together. And I wanted to do this together because it's part of the MyListing Project Template, just to kind of show you what it's all about. But we have a performance tab here, and there's nothing we really need to do from this column for the purposes of this video, other than the image governance. So setting a max file size for those uploads. So we need a code snippet in place to do that. I'm going to copy that from the car site. So we're going to do new snippet. We're going to call this ML-globally limit image upload size. So ML- just means it relates to my listing. We're going to globally limit the image upload size. It's a PHP of type PHP, and we don't need to mess with the conditions. We're going to just copy our code in here. And by default, this is going to limit the image upload size across the entire website to 1 meg. Okay, we're going to create a new folder here in WPCodeBox called PHP. Let's try that again. There we go. And we're just going to start moving some of our snippets in there, because now that we have snippets other than CSS, we kind of want to keep them organized. This one right here, I'm going to leave this in for everybody. This is going to be disabled. Just use with caution. Now that we've fixed the issue that we previously covered in the other video about how to fix those transparent headers for my listing, that's no longer needed. But I'll leave it there in case you guys want to tweak even further. So let's go ahead and create another folder called CSS. And then we can start moving our CSS into this folder. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's go back to our project template and see if there's anything else in the performance tab. One of the things that we're going to do that I include in all these sites and all my starter sites for everybody is the Perf Matters plugin. So we're going to install that right now. Let me get the installation files real quick. There we go. There we go. All right. So this, you'll get, if you buy the starter site, you'll get the latest, or if you're a client of mine, you'll get the latest version of Perf Matters. It will be licensed and ready to go with base settings. So I'm going to go ahead and license this up. If you guys will bear with me just a second, just because I don't want to forget. We're just going to do this whole thing together, and you can see my processes. All right, let's go here. All right, so I'm just pulling up my licensing, and we'll get this licensed. I'm going to bring this over to my other screen and get this licensed up, and then we will continue on. Because I'm going to show you the next process with Perf Matters here. So let's go. All right, license is in. We are good on that front. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going into Perf Matters on the car starter site. And this is the same across all starter sites. Any starter site I've built is this way. Okay, so I'm going into tools. I'll just show you here. We're going into tools, and I am exporting the settings. And then we are going to bring those base settings. So tools, import, we're going to bring these into this new site. All right, settings are saved. Let's see, did we import? There we go, import. All right, so it says they imported successfully. Quickest way to find out is go to the general tab, and there we go. So this is what I call my safe baseline settings for my listing websites. Okay, so if we go now back to our project template, the next thing, one of the things on the list is database optimization, and I do that with Perf Matters. So we go into Perf Matters, database, and this is already set up. Okay, so it's going to run your database optimizations on a weekly schedule. Okay, so that's done. Listing type, revision, governance. So for this is kind of a nitpicky thing, but if you want to reduce the number of listing types that MyListing saves, reduce the number of revisions that MyListing saves of listing types. So if you go into listing types, edit a listing type, MyListing by default will save 15 revisions of every change you made. And I've done numerous videos on why I think that's unnecessary. And I like to knock it down on my own websites to like 3 to 5 revisions. My preferred method for revisions is to export the config file whenever you need to. So export, go into the actual file and give it a meaningful name so you know what it's about. Even keeping a separate changelog in a text file is what I do. So reference the export config file name, and then reference like what changes did you make in that config file, because otherwise right over here you're just going to have 15 revisions in your dashboard that's saved in your database, and you have no idea what's saved in there. It's just a complete waste of database space. Okay, we're not going to do that for this particular video. For these sites, these are just light starter sites, so we're not doing as comprehensive stuff as we would do with the full starter sites. So we're going to skip that, but I wanted you to be aware. What's up here next? We've got, so all kinds of things around like performance testing, caching, and things like that, which we're not going to get into in this video. So I'm going to delete this column. And then launch. So you've got all kinds of testing and whatnot, and that's more on me to do. So yeah, pretty much most of this will just be me in the background doing that. So we won't be needing to do that. So our main focus is just wrapping up this to-do column, which we've got quite a bit to do still. So, all right. Anybody that tells you that you can build these MyListing websites, in a day, if I was just to sit down and just focus, I could launch in a day. More realistically, it's like 3 days, right? And I've had clients launch MyListing websites in 3 days using my starter sites. But if you're doing this on your own and you're not familiar with MyListing, I mean, even with the project template, which is going to save you a ton of time. This stuff is work, guys. It's work. It's not an issue with MyListing. It's just building a directory. It is work. Okay, let me see if there's any other PHP snippets I want to bring over just while we are doing that. Yeah, so we're gonna do another one. We're gonna call this Open Checkout Terms and Conditions in a new tab. The PHP snippet. Let me make a note that we are covering this topic. Let's see here. Bear with me 1 second. Spark. Okay, we're PHP snippets. We're talking about that. And some CSS snippets, potentially. We might be talking about those in this video. Let's see. Okay. All right, so what this does is enable that. When you go to the checkout, you're going to have an option with like Termageddon. It's like you click on a link and it's like embedded where you have your file, your privacy policy and your terms, and you can see it kind of in line with your checkout. So what we do instead, I could actually show you this on the car site. So if we go to shop, let me just add something to my cart. So when you go to checkout here, you see how you have these links. Okay. We open them in a completely new tab so they don't leave the checkout experience. Otherwise, it's going to just embed this really long, your entire policy basically is going to be embedded right here on the checkout page, and they have to scroll and they scroll, and it's a very small viewport and it's hard to see everything. So we open in the privacy policy and the terms and conditions in a new tab. Okay, so that is that one. Let's drag that to our PHP folder. Next up, we have remove fields from WooCommerce. Okay, so new snippet, PHP, don't need conditions. So what this one is going to do is just remove unnecessary fields from checkout. So we are removing the billing phone number and the comments. Like you can add when a customer's checking out from WooCommerce, they can leave comments. So we're just removing those. I just don't think they're needed. But if you want to bring both of those back or just one of those back, just edit the snippet or disable it or delete it. Totally up to you. But just remember, once you delete it, you got to then go, and if you ever want it back, you got to go to the club website and be a member, which you will be if you buy the site, and then just download that snippet again. So the easiest thing to do is just disable if you're not interested in it at the moment. Okay, next one. It's very, very similar. So let's go to new snippet. What this one's going to do is remove another section of the checkout. It's actually kind of similar. So let's see, so let's go ahead and enable this one. So this one removes fields, billing phone and order comments. This one removes the additional information area. They kind of slightly overlap, but they do slightly different things. Okay, so that's why both of those are in there. They're very, very close to being similar, but they're not. Okay, so the next one is new snippet. This is set free WooCommerce prices, product prices, to say the word free instead of 0. So we can see that here on the car site. If we go to the add listing process, for example, we see the word free here instead of 0. Okay, so that is, let me grab that code, save. Okay, so that is it for our PHP snippets. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's it. If you get the full-blown starter sites, there are more advanced stuff we do over there. But this is good for most sites out there. Okay. I think that's good enough for now. That's good enough for now. Okay, so moving on, we can look now at let's go top to bottom here. I think what we're going to focus on in the rest of this video is just kind of pricing related stuff. So the first one up here is the add listing page. Actually, first, let's talk about listing packages. So what I did is I imported the listing packages from the car demo. So if we go over here to products, I imported those in. I added a custom pricing image or product image that just looks like a house for these. You can use whatever you want, obviously, and replace those. But so we got three packages for listings and 3 promotional packages. And because we are not using WooCommerce subscriptions for these light starter sites, we are using the MyListing's default listing package types. Okay. I do recommend you go with WooCommerce subscriptions, but I understand that some people may not be able to afford that WooCommerce subscriptions plugin, or they are just fine with the MyListing default listing package type. So that's why we are doing that in the light starter site. Again, we're trying to follow along with the demos, right? Where they're doing everything, as close to MyListing defaults as possible and not using premium solutions. Okay, so that is all brought in and it's all configured. So I wanted to mention that. Let's go ahead and move that over to completed. Okay, let's look at the add listing page. So this right here, I'm going to style up offline. It's very basic what I'm going to do to this, so you don't need to see that. So that's really all I wanted to show you there. A separate, I'll make a task right now for the submit form, so I don't forget. We have to style up the submit form. Okay, but that's really it for the add listing page. It's basically going to look like the car site, so it's going to look like this. Very similar, but it'll have its own little flair, right? Okay, so I will put this in progress. Let's look at the pricing page. This we're going to have to build together. So pricing, we see that it's kind of blank. Not blank, but we just need to add our packages. So we're going to go to pages and then pricing, edit it with Elementor. Okay, we're going to edit the package selection widget and we're just going to select our actual packages for the site. Just remember, if any packages you add to your site, if you have a front-facing pricing page like this, remember to come back here and add each product to your site, each listing package, I should say. Okay, let's refresh the front end. Okay, so we have our stuff in here. If we look at the car site, this is what we ended up with. So I'm going to do something very similar to that, and I'm going to do that offline with nothing more than CSS at this point. Okay, next, let's look at the shop page. And we see that it's not very good. We're going to do something similar here that we did to the car site. And I will do that offline as well. And single product page. If we click into one of these products, again, this isn't terrible, but we're going to do a little bit better. So here is the car site. Okay. Going to do something similar for that. I will do that offline with just nothing more than CSS. Blog page. Not very good. We are going to do something like this. So we're going to like I showed you with that other page, we're going to bring, let's go back here. So at the shop page, we're going to add search and we're going to design it up. We're going to do the same thing with blog. We're going to add search and we're going to design up the blog post cards, if you will. I'll do that offline with nothing but CSS and a free search plugin. Same thing we use for the car site. And yeah, I think that's pretty good. I think that covers everything I wanted to cover. I wanted to bring you up to speed as I normally do, and I wanted to tell you what I'm going to be working on next. We're just going to hit the blog. All of this stuff here is just hitting it with CSS. And that's pretty much it in a free plugin for search, and adding that to the blog page and the shop page. Okay, but there's no need to keep you guys on here and watching me do CSS, but I will bring you up to speed with that, and we'll just keep working through things. All right, see you guys later, or talk to you guys later.